So it is great to be here in Jacksonville, and it's an honor to be joined by so many families from Camp Lejeune. This community has given so much to this country, and right now, thousands of men and women from the Jacksonville area are stationed around the world, and they're working day and night to keep us safe in this nation. They are our husbands and our wives, they are sons and daughters, and our friends and our neighbors, and of course for all the little ones here, they're moms and dads. And Barack and I are so grateful for the sacrifice that your families make to protect all American families. And we join you today and every day in praying for your loved ones' safety and service abroad. And today, and one of the reasons why I'm here today in particular is that it's the 7th anniversary of the invasion of Afghanistan. And our thoughts are with the men and women who are serving there with courage and with strength. And we also remember the 241 servicemen who were killed 25 years ago this month in the bombing of the U.S. Marine headquarters in Beirut, where they were stationed as part of a peacekeeping mission. Our nation will never forget that terrible day and the sacrifice of these men and their families and the women who've served for the cause of peacekeeping. So now I'd like to ask us to please take a moment of silence to recognize these men and women. Thank you. You know, anniversaries like these remind us of how important it is that we take every opportunity to express our gratitude to the men and women who serve in our nation's military and the families we love and who support them. So what I'd like to ask is that all the past and present service members and all the members of military families, please stand so that we can acknowledge you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So for the past 20 months, I've been meeting with military spouses all across the country and hearing their stories, hearing their dreams for the future, and the unique challenges they face because of their service to our country. And I've treasured these conversations, and I carry them with me everywhere I go. And so I want to thank you for taking the time to join me today to hear more about my husband's plans to bring the change we need to the country that we love so much. This is an extraordinary moment in our nation's history, isn't it? A moment when we have within our reach the chance to rebuild a future and to build a future for our families, for our communities, and for this nation. And each of us has our own story and our own reasons for coming to this point in history, for even coming here today. And like so many of you who are family members out there, and particularly women, and I've met so many wonderful women, but like many of the women that I meet, I juggle so many different roles on this campaign and in my life. I'm a wife, I'm a working woman, I'm a daughter and a sister and a friend. But the role I cherish most, as you know, is the role of mom. Our girls who are doing fine, and thank you for your prayers and your thoughts for them. We cherish them. They are our hearts. They light up our lives. They're the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning and the last thing I think about when I go to bed at night, and I don't care where I am. whether I'm on the campaign trail, at work, in a car. I'm worrying about their health and well-being. I want to make sure that they are happy and healthy and whole. And of course, I'm thinking about them right here today because the issues at stake in this election, like how we're going to handle this economic crisis and help working families, whether we're going to fix this broken healthcare system and make sure our kids get the education that they deserve and the opportunity to pursue their dreams. These issues are not just political issues. They're not for me, they're personal. And I know that they're personal for everyone in this room. Each of us comes here with our own perspectives on the issues that matter most to our lives, whether it's a more efficient VA system or better TRICARE, or whether it's a better education for our children, or more predictable deployments. So units have time to retrain and rebuild, and re-equip and reconnect with their families. No matter what the issues are, we have some fundamental things in common. We share the vision of a system that does more to support military families, both when loved ones are deployed and after they return. That's what I'm learning from the conversations I've been having with military families. That's the common thread. And we share something else as well. We've all been touched by this economic crisis that our nation is facing. And I know that you're feeling the effects of it every single day. We all are now. No one's avoiding it. You feel it every time you go pay for groceries. You feel it when you go fill up your gas tank. Especially here in North Carolina, where you're stuck with some of the highest gas prices in the country. You feel it every morning when you wake up with your stomach in knots, worried about what bad news the day may bring. Because if the economy doesn't turn around soon, it's only going to get harder for us to give our kids the lives that we want them to have. Whether it's getting a fair mortgage or a reasonable deal on a loan to buy a car, whether it's sending our kids to college, all those achievements that make our lives a little more secure and our futures a little brighter. All of them will be further out of reach, and we know this. And you feel it when you tuck your kids in at night, and you wonder what kind of world we're going to be leaving for them. And you think, well, if it's this bad now, what's it going to be like in 5, 10, 15 years? That's the thought I know all of us are carrying around in our hearts every day. And all these challenges are even harder for military families. This is something that I've learned during this 20 months. You become everything while your spouse is away. Your mom and dad. You're in charge of the checkbook. You're looking after your in-laws. You're making dinner and trying to get homework done and handing out discipline. And when the bills keep piling up and that list of chores seems to get endless, you have one additional role that's worrying late into the night about how you're going to pull it all together. And Barack and I have heard so many military families all across the country who are working hard every day to do it all without the support that they deserve. And if there's one thing we've learned from those conversations, it's that when our military goes to war, their families go with them. That's for sure. But we also learned how you all take care of each other. And that's been something to watch. Barack and I see how the military really is like a family for many. You'll fill in when services fail. From babysitting to untangling bureaucracies to delivering bad news, you're doing it all. Even if you're not trained to do it or prepared, you do it because you have to. And I'll never forget a conversation that I had with a group of women. A young mother, little baby, husband would just deploy, she's a teenager, came to that meeting and she was in tears because she said, I don't know how I'm going to handle it all. I'm alone here. I don't have family. I didn't know it was going to be this way. And she broke down in tears, and another woman stood up in that meeting. She said, I don't know you. I didn't know you before I got here, but when I leave here, I'm going to give you my number. And you're going to be able to call me because you're not alone. And they embraced at that meeting that right now, here today, you have a friend. That's the kind of courage and strength military spouses show each and every day. They're doing everything that's asked of them and more. And they're not asking for much in return, like most Americans. They're not asking for government to solve all their problems. They're just asking for a Washington that understands. A Washington that understands the unique challenges that military families are facing as part of their extraordinary commitment to this country. Well, Barack understands. That's one of the reasons why I'm traveling around to let people know Barack Obama understands. And he doesn't just understand it theoretically or philosophically. He understands it because his life was shaped by the sacred contract that our country makes with the men and women who serve it. Barack's grandfather enlisted in Pearl Harbor. He marched in Patton's army. Barack's grandmother worked as a bomber, Rosie the Riveter bomber on an assembly line while her husband was away. And his mother was born at Fort Leavenworth. So there's a tradition there. And when Barack's grandfather returned to America, our country at that time rewarded his service with the opportunity to go to college on the GI Bill. When his grandfather returned back then, he was able to buy his first home with a loan from the Federal Housing Administration. And as a result, his family moved west all the way to Hawaii, where he and Barack's grandmother helped to raise him. So today, Barack is determined to lead America to make the same commitment to military families today so that other families have the same opportunity that he had, that his grandfather had, that his mother had. That's his commitment. That's why when he arrived in the Senate, Barack sought a seat immediately, the first thing he did on the Veterans Affairs Committee. He led a bipartisan effort to improve care at Walter Reed because he believed that recovering servicemen should go to the front of the line and they shouldn't have to fight to be there for their services and their benefits. He also helped pass laws that gave family members health care and a year of job protection so that they never have to choose between caring for a loved one and keeping their job. And now, right now, these are still some of the issues that are at stake in this election. These are some of the same issues that are being discussed. So on November the 4th, we all have a choice to make. We've got a real choice. And see, when I look at the two candidates and their plans for America, or listen to them debate the issues like we're going to hear tonight, Tennessee. And when I think about the military families I've met across the country and the kind of help that they could use right now, not in 4 years or in 8 years, but right now, then the choice is clear. For me, it is. It's clear. There's only one candidate in this race. There's more. We're fired up and ready to go, but there are still many people who are undecided. We got to focus on those undecided, so we need to let them know what's at stake. particularly our military families, as it pertains to our military families, because there's only one candidate in this race who's going to create a 21st century VA that offers world-class care and rejects the idea that we should only treat combat injuries but not those sustained in training or on the deck of an aircraft carrier. There's only one candidate who has a record of strong support for improving mental health care for service members and veterans. There's only one candidate in this race who has been a consistent supporter of the 21st century GI Bill. Only one candidate. This GI Bill would allow service members to receive benefits as well as their families, and more people would be able to pursue their dream, get an education because of this bill. Because all our troops and their families should get the same opportunity that Barack's grandfather had, an affordable college education. That's the least we could do for the men and women and the families who serve this country. But there's only one candidate talking about that. There's only one candidate. There is only one candidate who puts the middle class at the heart of his economic plan, who is talking about tax cuts to 95% of all working families. There's only one candidate who will stop giving tax breaks to companies who are shipping jobs overseas and start rewarding companies who are creating jobs right here in America. There's only one candidate. There's only one candidate who is even talking about expanding the Family and Medical Leave Act to cover reserve families so that when a reservist is called up, their spouse can take time off work to help get the family together, get those affairs in order. There's only one candidate who is talking about that. And there's only one candidate, as you know, that is talking at all about a timetable for ensuring that our troops return responsibly. Only one candidate. And there's only one candidate who believes that we need to take the $10 billion that we're spending every month in Iraq and reinvesting that right here in our neighborhoods to create jobs and to support our healthcare system. When you take a close look at the candidates' plans, they add up to two very different visions for what kind of lives our servicemen and women should return to when they finally come home. There are two very different visions, because when your loved ones are far away, they shouldn't have to worry about whether they'll find a job when they get back. They shouldn't have to worry about whether their families are being taken care of while they're away. They shouldn't have to worry about whether their kids are going to good schools. They shouldn't have to worry about whether they're drinking the right good food and taking it in and growing strong and getting everything that they need to be everything that they can imagine. They shouldn't have to worry about that. And they shouldn't have to worry about whether they're going to have homes that have been foreclosed. They shouldn't have to worry about that. But there's only one candidate in this race who understands that, and that one candidate is Barack Obama. With Barack Obama, you're going to get the kind of leaders whose policies are going to focus on the kind of change that we want and need. Now, today we brought copies of something we call the blueprint that describes Barack Obama and Joe Biden's support for military families. And hopefully each one of you has gotten a copy of this, because it's a useful resource, not just as campaign material, but it also serves as providing specific information for families here in North Carolina to help them figure out how to find a job and to get health care and to find family support if you already don't know where those resources are right here in the state. So I hope you take one look at it, use it, give us feedback. But in the end, Barack is the only candidate determined to change Washington so that instead of just talking a good game about family values, we also have a Washington that's working hard to develop policies that actually value families. Go figure. And that's why I'm here today, because I believe that this campaign is the best investment that I can make in my daughter's future. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. And I know it's the best investment that we can make in all of our children's futures. That I know. So that's the choice that we have to make in this election. That's what's coming up. And if you agree with me, then it's important not to let this opportunity pass us by. I urge you to get involved, to register, to vote, to help other people register to vote. That's the next step. And here in North Carolina, voter registration ends on October the 10th. That's the next big push. So if you want to vote in November, if you know other people who want to vote in November, who feel passionate, they have to know that they can only vote if they register first before October the 10th. There's another way that you can vote here, and I've got to read this because I keep up with all this different state stuff. But between October 16th and November the 1st, you can register and vote early all at the same time here in North Carolina. So if for some reason you don't register to vote by Friday, this is useful. North Carolina is progressive in this respect. But I hope all of you do register by the 10th. That's first. Do it by the 10th. But if you don't, then you have another chance to vote if you register and vote early all at the same time. So you have to do it all at once, right? And voting early is a great way to ensure that your vote counts. Do it early. Get it out of the way. But whether you vote early or whether you vote on Election Day, there are only a few days to make this choice before Election Day. And we're here to help with that, because part of the key to this campaign is not just drumming up enthusiasm for Barack, but drumming up enthusiasm for the democratic process, getting people re-engaged in the process again. That's part of what this campaign has been all about. It's getting people, waking them up to focus on the issues, to understand what's going on in Washington and also their own backyards, to understand that voting matters. It is everything. So we're here to help. We've got a wonderful website called voteforchange.com. Our campaign runs it, and you can get on that website. You can find out your own registration status if you go click onto your state, North Carolina. If some of you are visiting from other places, go to your state. It'll tell you the deadline. It'll tell you your polling place. It'll tell you whether you're registered, and you can register online. So if you don't want to be bothered with an office, or you worrying about long lines, or if you've got an aunt or a grandparent or someone who doesn't want to go out, you can help them register on your line. Young people who know about using all these computers, go find somebody and get them online and help them get registered. It is easy. It takes minutes. But the one thing I've said to Barack, and I told him this at the beginning of the race. I said, look, honey, I said, you can get us 70, 80% of the way there. I said, that's, if you work hard, you can only get us part of the way there. And quite frankly, I think that Barack has more than done his job. I mean, if you just think about this year, and it's been such an amazing year, Barack has just moved beyond all expectations. He has built a phenomenal political organization all around the country that has attracted millions of volunteers, that's really energized folks. We've knocked on doors and gotten on phone calls. In Missouri alone, in that state last week, and they knocked on 100,000 doors in Missouri. And I know we're having some of the same successes right here in North Carolina. It's happening all across the country because Barack has found some of the best staff. He's recruited some of the best field organizers. We've got young folks. We've got not so young folks. We've got folks who've never voted before. We've got people who have never voted in a long time. He's built this phenomenal organization. and he's raised the money to run it, breaking records. And to top it off, he's been so eloquent on so many issues that we haven't touched on in a long time, offering insight to issues on race and faith and religion, and he's touched on it in a way that is opened up all of our hearts and minds to the issues that are challenging this country. He has been a phenomenal debater. He had a great debate last time, and I know he's going to do a great job tonight. And he has done it all with a level of grace and poise and dignity and honesty and unity. He's done a great job, and I've told him, I said, babe, you've gotten us 85% of the way there, so you know what? It's up to us. Now it is up to us. The question we have to ask ourselves here in North Carolina and all across this country is, are we ready for the kind of president that we've said we wanted for so long? Are we ready to be unified? Are we ready to work on issues that are going to help build the working class, the middle class? Are we ready to change our reputation around the world? Are we ready to build an environment that we can hand over to our kids? Are we ready for universal health care? Are we ready to make sure that every child in this nation, regardless of their race or their gender or their parents' political affiliation or the property values in their neighborhood, that every child will receive an outstanding public education, complete with all the bells and whistles that we know? Are we ready for that? Well, if you're ready for that, then Barack Obama is the only choice. So we need you. We need you. Barack said that the very first moment he announced. He said this race is not about him, and it will never be about him. It will always be about us. Barack can't win without you because he can't lead without you. To do all of the things that we need to do in this country, Barack knows that he needs an active, engaged, and focused electorate. People who are passionate about making change in their own lives, in their own homes, in their own communities, who are going to stand beside him when the going gets tough. So I'm telling you, Barack Obama needs you. We need you. We need you. We need you working for us. We need you praying for us. Then we need you working some more and praying some more and then working a little more. And if you do that, if we do that between now and November 4th, and then we keep doing it forever, because we can never go back to the way things were. We have to stay vigilant and focused. And we have to work together as neighbors, as brothers and sisters, as a community, as a nation. And if we do that, not only will we elect Barack Obama as the next president of the United States, but we could change the world. Thank you so much.